Have you ever wondered why some brands feel legendary, almost like they were destined to exist, while others struggle to stand out? It all comes down to storytelling, but not just any story. This is about your origin story. It's not about when you started your business or the fact that you've always loved jewelry. It's about tapping into something bigger, something that feels inevitable, purposeful, and even mythical. I'm Larissa Werstick, and for the past 8 years, my women-run marketing agency, Joy Joya, has been helping jewelry brands thrive. I'm here to help you toss aside the one-size-fits-all playbook and create a unique marketing strategy so your brand can shine in a sea of sparkle. All right, let's jump right in, sparklers. Let's talk about origin stories, why they matter, and why they're one of the most powerful tools you have as a jewelry brand. So what do I mean exactly when I say origin story? When I say this, I don't just mean the date you launched your business or the fact that you liked making jewelry as a kid. An origin story is something much bigger. It's the spark, the transformation, the journey. It's not just a biography, it's more like a myth. But it's also not a lie, so let me clarify further. A truly great origin story should feel almost mythical, something that transcends the everyday and taps into something deeper, whether that's destiny, passion, or an unshakable calling. This isn't about embellishment. Again, I'm not saying you should lie. It's about finding the extraordinary within your real life experience. Your origin story should make people feel something. It should make them believe in your brand as more than just a business, but as something inevitable, purposeful, bigger than just you. And that's how you create connection. That's how you create loyalty. So what is all this about storytelling that I'm talking about, and why does it matter so much? Storytelling is not just a marketing tool. It's actually one of the most ancient and essential human traditions. Before we had written language, before marketing, before branding, before all these things even existed, people used stories to pass down history, culture, and meaning. And a great story doesn't just transmit information, it moves people. And emotions are then what drive action. When customers feel like they know you, when they really understand the story behind your jewelry and the deeper purpose behind it, they don't just buy from you, they're actually connecting and becoming part of this greater tradition of your brand. When I was in college, I majored in writing, and one of the most fascinating courses I took was all about origin stories. We actually studied Genesis from the Bible, not as a religious text, but purely as one of the most well-known and enduring origin stories in history. A book like that has withstood the test of time because it attempts to create a sense of destiny, meaning, and purpose. It tries to explain where something began and why it matters. And its goal is to give its readers, or the people who hear the story, a way to understand themselves better and to understand their world. And that's exactly what an origin story should do for a brand. It makes people believe in why your jewelry exists, not just as an object, but as something that carries history, emotion, and meaning. People are wired to crave stories with beginnings, struggles, and transformations. Think about your favorite brands. Chances are you know something about how they started. Maybe it's a designer who left their corporate job to follow a dream. Maybe it's a craftsperson reviving an ancient technique. Maybe it's a maker who built their business from their kitchen table. These stories stay with us because they feel bigger and more monumental than the product itself. They elevate a brand from being just a jewelry brand to something that carries legacy, purpose, and deeper meaning. One example that we might all know is Tiffany & Co. Unlike other jewelers of the time, Tiffany focused on American craftsmanship, setting itself apart in a European-dominated industry. In 1648, during the French Revolution, Tiffany made a daring move. He acquired a collection of rare French crown jewels, cementing his reputation as the king of diamonds. And that's a really big part of their origin story. Tiffany also revolutionized engagement rings with the Tiffany setting in 1886, a design that lifted the diamond above the band to maximize its brilliance. This innovation not only set a new standard in jewelry design, but also solidified Tiffany's role in shaping modern romance. Their origin story is not just about making jewelry. It's about challenging conventions, pioneering new ideas, and defining luxury in a uniquely American way. That's the kind of story that makes a brand feel larger than life. A great example outside of the jewelry industry is Joy Mangano, a self-made millionaire known for inventing the Miracle Mop and huggable hangers. Her compelling origin story was even turned into a movie called Joy in 2015 starring Jennifer Lawrence. I highly recommend you checking out that movie to see how someone's origin story can really inform the brands that they create. But you don't have to be a huge brand to have an origin story. You can look for the magic in your own story, even if your brand is young and even if you're a solopreneur. I love the origin story of Jamil Mohammed, the founder of Kiri. According to an article on CFDA, his brand started as a direct challenge. In 2016, a prominent luxury goods CEO told him that luxury brands could only come from Paris or Milan. Determined to prove them wrong, Mohammed launched Kiri, infusing his jewelry with his heritage and the culture of the African diaspora. With his bold designs and visionary approach, he is well on his way to establishing his own luxury house. So if you're just getting started with your own origin story, there's a framework you can actually use to help you to make it feel more epic, and it's called the hero's journey. At the heart of every unforgettable story is the hero's journey, a timeless storytelling structure that we see everywhere, from ancient myths to Hollywood blockbusters. And whether you realize it or not, your jewelry brand is on its own version of that journey. Every hero starts with a calling. It's an urge to do something different, to change something. Maybe for you, it was the pull toward creativity, the realization that jewelry was more than just an accessory. It was an art form, a way to tell stories, a piece of someone's legacy. But no hero's journey is complete without challenges. And the challenges are what make it interesting. Maybe you struggled to source the right materials, had to teach yourself metalsmithing, or took a leap of faith to leave a stable career. Maybe there were moments when you questioned everything. But just like in every great story, struggle is what makes the triumph more meaningful. People don't just want to hear that your jewelry is beautiful. They want to know why it matters, why you care so deeply, what you had to push through to bring your vision to life. The more real and honest you are about your challenges, the more people will root for you and your brand. And in addition to the hero's journey structure, details matter too. Have you ever listened to someone tell a story and found yourself completely drawn in? Not because the story itself was earth-shattering, but because of the details, and you just wanted to hear more. That's the power of specificity. Instead of saying, I started making jewelry in a tiny studio, you could say, I used to melt silver on my kitchen stove because I didn't have a real jeweler's torch. My first workbench was a second-hand desk with scratches from its previous life. I kept a notebook full of sketches, pages curling at the edges from spilled coffee. See the difference? Specificity makes your story come to life. It makes it feel real. Similarly, you can use sensory language to create emotion. People don't just remember facts. I certainly don't. They remember feelings. I know when I was in high school in history class, I just hated reading those history textbooks because a lot of them were just so fact-driven. But now as an adult, I like to read historical books that have more of a narrative because I really like to immerse myself in the feelings, and it helps me retain information so much better. Feelings are the best way to make someone retain information, to have a memory, to want to even share it with someone else. I know when I read an interesting fact that's in more of a story format, I go and tell my friend or my husband or my mom because I'm so excited to share it. So using sensory language can help people remember you. Instead of saying, I wanted my first collection to feel organic, try, I wanted my first collection to feel like sun-warmed earth after rain, the kind of imperfect beauty you find in nature where no two things are ever exactly alike. The more vividly you paint the picture, the deeper your audience will connect and stop and think and reflect and spend one more extra moment with you. At the end of the day, an epic origin story isn't about making things sound grander than they are. It's about telling the truth in a way that resonates, embracing your struggles, tying your work to a deeper purpose, and using the kind of details and language that make your story impossible to forget. Because when your story feels epic, people will also believe in you. So here are some straightforward steps to craft your origin story. Again, this isn't just a series of events. It should be a narrative arc, something that connects who you are, why you do what you do, and how it all translates into the experience your customers have with your brand. So number 1, define your spark. What inspired you to start making jewelry? You might think you've already answered this, but I encourage you to go deeper. For example, let's say you often tell people, I was inspired by my grandmother's jewelry collection. I loved seeing it as a child. That's a great start, but let's push further. What did that experience mean to you? Maybe it wasn't just about admiring beautiful jewelry. Maybe it was about connection, identity, and legacy. Maybe it awakened something primal in you, an appreciation for how jewelry carries memory and history. Your spark isn't just about what happened, it's about why it mattered. What did it stir in you? How did it shape the way you see the world? And ultimately, how does that emotion translate into the jewelry you create today? Number 2, identify the challenge. Did you face struggles, doubts, or obstacles? Even if your journey has been relatively smooth, every business owner experiences doubt or vulnerability at some point. It might be financial struggles, imposter syndrome, creative blocks, or simply the fear of putting yourself out there. Customers don't connect with perfection. Actually, I would say in 2025, people are more drawn to the imperfect, and they're connecting with honesty and authenticity. So ask yourself, what moments made you question whether you were on the right path? Were there times when you had to pivot, adapt, or prove yourself? Did people doubt you? Did you doubt yourself? What obstacles did you have to overcome to get to where you are today? Your audience doesn't need a list of struggles and a complaining fest. But one defining challenge and how you faced it can add so much depth to your story. The way you overcame that challenge tells people something about your resilience, passion, and commitment to your craft. Number 3, highlight the transformation. What pivotal moment shaped your brand's philosophy? If you're brand new to your business, you might struggle with this one, but transformation doesn't have to mean a massive life-altering event. It could be a small internal shift, an aha moment, as Oprah says, where everything clicked. Maybe your transformation was finally getting out of your own way, stepping out of your comfort zone, or realizing that your work mattered more than the fear that was holding you back. Some examples of transformation moments would be the first time someone bought a piece of your jewelry and told you how special it made them feel. The realization that you didn't have to follow traditional jewelry industry rules. You could carve your own path. A personal breakthrough like embracing your own identity, culture, or heritage through your designs. Transformation gives your story momentum. It's what makes your journey feel like it's leading somewhere meaningful. Number 4, showcase your unique approach. What makes your work stand out from others? This isn't about features or benefits. This is about the soul of your brand. What kind of energy do you want people to feel when they wear your jewelry? What is the essence of your designs beyond materials and craftsmanship? For example, do you create jewelry that feels like an ancient relic with a modern twist? Is your work deeply inspired by spirituality, astrology, or nature? Are your designs a rebellion against conventional luxury, redefining who gets to wear fine jewelry and why? This is where you set yourself apart, not just with what you create, but with a deeper emotion, philosophy, and purpose infused into your work. And number 5, this might be the most important one and the part that most brands get wrong. Tie it back to your customers. Why does your story matter to them? Your origin story is not about you, or not only about you. It should also make your customers feel like they are part of it. So ask yourself, how does your journey enhance their experience? How does your story make your jewelry more than just something they buy, but something they connect with? What transformation do you want them to feel when they wear your pieces? For example, if your jewelry helped you rediscover your cultural heritage, how does it help them feel more connected to their own? If creating jewelry empowered you, how does it also empower them? At the end of the day, again, people don't just buy jewelry. I can't say it enough. They buy stories, emotions, and meaning. And when your story makes them feel something, that's when it becomes truly powerful and transcendent. So what do you think? When was the last time you revisited your origin story? Could it use a refresh? I'd love to hear how you've approached this kind of storytelling in the past and what, if anything, you're thinking about changing now. Let's keep the conversation going. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video helpful, please like, subscribe, and check out my other videos for even more tips and guidance.